Hey everybody, welcome back. Today I'm going to show you how to make this LED sign that I'm making for a friend of mine's office. He's been kind enough to give me and my family a lot of free things, free classes and education that he provides, and I'm going to thank him by making this sign. So I'll walk you through the process. It's going to be a lot easier than you think. We're going to be using the X-Carve, but you can do this just as easily with a scroll saw. So let's get to it. So I had a piece of plywood specifically set out for this purpose, but it has disappeared. Instead, I'm going to use this 3/4 inch pine panel that was gifted to us because this glue line failed in one of the pieces, and so what better use of a gift than to use it to make a gift for somebody else. So let's get this trimmed down, and then we'll put it on the X-Carve and start carving out the 3 layers that we need for this sign. Okay, I lied. This is 1/2 inch panel, not 3/4 inch panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the 2 center pieces of the sign, the 2 middle pieces, or what was going to be 1 middle 3/4 inch piece of ply. I'm now going to cut out of 2 1/2 inch pine to make that inner section. It'll give me a little more room to work with anyway to glue the lights on. But let's put this on the X-Carve and start cutting out the layers. Okay, I've got all 4 pieces cut. These are the 2 center pieces that are going to form the middle of the sign, like so. And then this cover will go on the front, or this top piece will go on the front. And that'll be our sign, basically. And on the inside, we'll have some red LED lights. But the first thing I'm going to do is I want to sand the inside of these 2 inner pieces on my oscillating sander, but because I want a nice smooth surface for those LEDs to adhere to. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to glue these 2 pieces together first. Please don't tell my wife I'm using the X-Carve as a workbench today. My workbench is, well, I can't even show it to you. It's so bad. I have to do this here. I have no other room. Okay, so right now I'm just measuring how long this LED strip needs to be to go around the full interior of this sign. And it looks like it's right there. So we'll cut this. Okay, so I've got my LED light here, or my LED strip cut to the right length, but I need to know the power supply that I bought for this is 1 amp. It was not enough to drive that whole row of LEDs, but hopefully it will be enough to drive this basically what is a 1/2 a roll here. So we're going to go ahead and test that. I'm just going to make sure that my leads aren't touching here. And I need to find out which one's positive, which one's negative. So if your meter shows a negative voltage, that means you've got it hooked up in reverse. And I've got it right. So my left hand here is positive. So let's just test this real quick. When I was doing this the first time, or when I first got these lights and I was testing whether or not this power supply was enough, it was flashing the lights because there just wasn't enough current. But let's check now. And there we go, it looks good. And that length of light looks like it's gonna be quite a bit to shine through this sign here. So all I'm gonna do now is, I'll worry about this wiring later. I'm gonna just do a quick sand on the inside or the interior of this sign, and then I'm gonna spray paint it white so that it will reflect the light really well when the light is on. So I'll go ahead and do that. I won't make you watch. Okay, I've just taped the front of this thing up because I actually want to stain the outside of this, so I don't want any of that white spray paint to get on the sides of this. So I'm just gonna spray this straight on. Mostly I want the back well coated with a white paint. Not too terribly worried about the sides, but I'll go ahead and paint that real quick. Okay, so I have the inside of this painted. I could not find any white paint. I guess we're out. But I did find some red paint. Oh, I got a piece of sawdust in there. I did find some red paint, which would do just fine. But I'm not going to glue the front of this on because if for some reason these LEDs ever go out, I'd like my buddy to be able to replace them if he so desires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this thing lined up basically, and I'm going to attach, I'm going to go all the way through with these basically 2-inch pocket hole screws, which means I'm going to have to countersink about, well, I'd say about 1/4 inch into here. But that way we'll be able to take the front of this off should we need to. Now I don't want to screw through all the layers here. What I want is just some room around the screw so it'll slip right in. And so I'm going to take a drill bit here. That should be good. And I'm just going to drill myself some pilot holes here. And what I want to do is I want to go through basically these first 3 layers, but I don't want to drill a pilot hole into the very front of this sign. So I'm just going to come here and, well, looks like I don't even have to tape my drill bit. If I just refrain from going in that last 1/4 inch, we should be good. So I'll just drill myself some pilot holes here. That should be good. These are probably just a tiny bit smaller than the threads. Actually, no, it's perfect. So that will allow me to use these pocket hole screws to hold this back on. However, these pocket hole screws, if I were to just put them in flush, I would only have maybe 1/8 of an inch of the tip of this screw holding the front on, which is not going to be enough. So I need to countersink these holes about 1/4 inch. Okay, so this paint is still just a tiny bit tacky, and I think I'm going to use that to my advantage. In the reviews for this LED strip, people mentioned that this adhesive was less than wonderful. So I'm going to use the tackiness of the paint to kind of help out here, and then probably what I'll do is at several places, once this thing is dry, I'll just put in a few drops of epoxy to make sure this thing doesn't come undone, and we'll hope for the best. So I'm going to go ahead and just start lining the inside of this with my LED strip. Okay, so I've got the LEDs installed here, and I'm going to let this dry for a bit. But while it's drying, and while these LEDs are drying in place and the paint's drying, I'm going to go ahead and attach the front because I can go ahead and sand the exterior of this while that interior is drying. And then I want to not only sand it in one piece, I also want to stain it in one piece. So I'm going to attach the back. We'll go ahead and stain it, or I'm sorry, sand it, then stain it, and then I'll take the back off again, and we'll do the wiring. And there you have it, our finished sign. In the video it looks orange for some reason, probably because my white balance is off, but it is in fact very red. But we're all done. All I'm going to do is put a few coats of poly on this and it'll be ready to give to my friend. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please like and share and subscribe, because I'm going to be doing all kinds of weird stuff every week. I want to try to build something new. So, thanks a lot. Take care.